I didn't realize our title was Class Warfare. I actually have a long history of this. I grew up in a very lefty household, and when I was 5, my parents took me to a be-in where hippies would go just to be in Central Park. And the hippies threw their wallets in a burning garbage can to demonstrate their liberation from money and material things. And I was 5, and I saw a $5 bill on fire in the garbage can. I ran up and reached into the fire and grabbed it and ran away, which was my first step over to the right. And I decided if we're going to have class warfare, I want to be on the winning side. And so my only addition here to add right now to what Charles said will be to emphasize the social and psychological aspects of this. And so if you go back to family structure back in when I was a kid in the mid-'60s, college-educated, high school-educated had reasonably similar family structures. And now, as Charles indicated, that's not true. So the divorce rates are vastly different, college-educated to high school-educated. Obesity rates are much different. Smoking rates are much different. And the way people raise their kids is much different. I reported in a column recently on some work Robert Putnam of Harvard did on the difference between these two family styles. He points out that over the last, I can't remember the exact time frame, but say 20, 30 years, the amount of time that highly educated parents spent with their kids has radically increased, while the amount of time high school educated parents spend with their kids is basically flatlined. Over the past, this period, 20, 25 years, the amount of money college educated parents spent on their kids has increased by about $6,000 a year per kid. And that's money spent on tutors, travels, teams, SAT prep, all this extracurricular stuff. Working class families can't afford $6,000 there. They've ramped up their investment by about $500. And so that's led to this divergence, which is not only about money, it's about psychology. And so there's a whole bunch of work that's been done, reported in a book by a colleague of mine named Paul Tuff called How Children Succeed, which is about stress and what early childhood stress does to people. There was a study many years ago called the ACE study, where they took a look at people and they just asked them some basic questions about how much stress they had in their life. Did you grow up in child of divorce? Were you abused? Did a parent lose a job? And basically that early childhood stress is a great predictor of all sorts of things later in life, because stress has impact on the brain. It makes it much harder to self-regulate, much harder to control impulses, much harder to plan ahead, and that stress is a powerful this economic and social stress has a powerful bad effect on people living in more disorganized neighborhoods. The second big effect is on attachments. There's a whole mountain of research called attachment theory. It's how do kids attach basically to mom at 18 months. And if you have a secure relationship with your mom at 18 months, you have a model in your head to how to relate to people. And when you get to school, you'll know how to relate to mom, you'll know how to, or teachers, you'll know how to relate to peers, and you'll probably do reasonably well in school. A University of Minnesota team took a look at attachment patterns at 18 months and could predict with 77% accuracy who was going to graduate from high school. And so about 55% of the kids in America are securely attached, 20% or so are avoidantly attached, and the rest are what they have disorganized attachment. Those two latter categories, much lower life chances. And then the final thing has to do with just the mentality of child rearing. And here I would just refer to a great sociologist named Annette Lareau, who wrote a book which I highly recommend called Unequal Childhoods, in which she says we do not raise our kids upon a continuum. We have two entirely different child rearing styles. There's what she calls concerted cultivation, which is what I raise my kids, and I suspect a lot of you were raised, where you're driving your kids everywhere. You've got flow charts on the refrigerator to see which parent is taking which kids which place. And the kids are born, and mom's flashing little Mandarin flashcards of the things. And so that's one style. The next style is more working class, more prevalent in the working class, where people say life is hard. We're going to let our kids have some freedom. Let them enjoy childhood. And those kids are much healthier as kids, but their chances as adults are diminished. And so I just would focus, and I'll try to come back to this. It's an economic issue, but it also has profound psychological impacts.